Welcome to Witchy Wednesday, where we remember the rituals our ancestors practiced long before spirituality became a trend. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back. It is Witchy Wednesday, and this is where this is where we reconnect with the wisdom of our ancestors and the spiritual practices that were once a part of everyday life. So long before modern spiritual tools and metaphysics stores existed, people worked with the land around them. They used herbs from their gardens, plants from nearby forests, and ingredients from their kitchens. Smoke cleansing was one of the oldest purification rituals in the world. And across cultures and traditions, people burned herbs to clear stagnant energy, bless homes, mark seasonal transitions, and reconnect with the natural rhythms of life. And as the winter begins to soften and we move closer to spring here on the northern hemisphere of the world, this is actually a beautiful time to clear out the heavy or stagnant energy that may be built up during the colder months. So today I'm going to teach you a very simple ancestral smoke cleansing ritual, and we are going to do it together. So, to start off, let's understand a little bit more about our herbs. One of the most important things to understand about smoke cleansing is that you do not need rare or expensive herbs. Our ancestors used what was available to them. And sometimes that meant herbs from their garden, sometimes it meant plants growing wild or in nearby forests, and sometimes it meant simple herbs from the kitchen. Today I'm using 3 very traditional herbs that many people already have in their cupboard. So, the first herb we're going to be using is rosemary. So, rosemary has been around for centuries in European folk tradition and purification and protection. It is often burned in homes to clear stagnant energy, bring clarity to the mind, and protect the space from heaviness. There is actually an old saying that goes, if you cannot find sage, use rosemary, because rosemary is considered one of the most powerful cleansing herbs. So, I'm going to go ahead and add rosemary to my fire-safe bowl. And there's already some remnants of sage because I did sage my house at the beginning of the month. So there's always a little bit of remnants from that. Go ahead. Added our rosemary. Next, I'm going to be adding a bay leaf. Now, bay leaves have been around and used spiritually since ancient Greek and Rome. They are associated with release and transformation. So when we burn a bay leaf, it symbolizes letting go of what no longer serves us. This is why people often burn bay leaves when they are releasing old energy or setting new intentions. So I'm just going to crumple this bay leaf up into the bowl. There we go. And lastly today, I will be using cinnamon. I'll be using from a cinnamon stick. So, cinnamon carries a warm and activating energy. Historically, it has been connected to prosperity, protection, and inviting good fortune. So while rosemary clears and bay leaf releases, cinnamon helps invite fresh energy, warmth, and abundance back into the space. So I'm just going to break up this cinnamon stick. Oh, maybe. That was a lot harder than I thought. All right. And then I'm just going to put them all in together here. And so as you can see, I have all our beautiful herbs together. So remember, this rosemary clears stagnant energy, the bay leaf is in here to release what needs to leave, and the cinnamon invites renewal and forward movement. This makes a blend perfect for clearing winter energy and welcoming the shift towards spring. Now, another really beautiful thing about ancestral practices is that people often use plants growing right outside their homes. I'm here in Ontario, Canada, and there are actually many traditional cleansing plants that grow naturally in the wild. Unfortunately, we have had a crap ton of snow, and I live in a newer subdivision, so there's not a lot of foliage available to me at this time. But I want to share it with you so that you can do this at another time and use plants from nature. So here are a few examples of what our ancestors used to use. So cedar, which has long been used for protection and purification. Juniper was burned in many cultures to clear illness and negative energy. Sweetgrass is traditionally used to invite positive energy and blessings. Mugwort is used for spiritual protection, dreams, and connecting with intuition. And even plants like pine and birch can be used. Pine needles have a cleansing and an uplifting energy that were often burned during seasonal transitions, and birch is associated with renewal and new beginnings, which makes it especially meaningful as we approach spring. What I love about these traditions is that they remind us something environmental. What I love about these traditions is it reminds us about something very important. Spiritual practices were never meant to be complicated or expensive. It was meant to be connected to the land and the seasons. Right, once you have all your ingredients, you're then going to go ahead and you're going to light your herbs. Now, this is not about flame, although you may have some. This is about the smoke that it can produce, right? Essentially what we want is we want the flames to smolder and produce smoke, because it's the smoke that carries the cleansing energy. So I just want to get a good enough smolder going here. Now that we got some smoke going, I'm going to use, my husband bought me this beautiful feather at one of our indigenous reserves, and I have yet to use it, and so I'm very excited to be able to use it today. So ideally, if you have a feather access to you, you can use it for the smoke. And if you don't have a feather accessible to you, you can simply use your hand. You can use a piece of paper to fan it. Whatever you have at your disposal is exactly what your ancestors would have used. Okay, so traditionally, you will begin at the entrance of your home, as the doorway represents the threshold between outside world and your sacred space. And as the smoke rises, you're going to gently guide it either with your hand or your feather, and you're going to say something like, stagnant energy is cleared, the home is renewed, only peace, protection, and harmony remain. And then you're just going to move slowly throughout your home, repeating that occasionally from time to time. Now, tip, make sure you open your windows, because you want to allow for the stagnant energy to be able to release. And also, you don't want to keep the smoke all in your house. I did that the first time I saged the house. I forgot to open the windows upstairs. My husband came home and he was like, "Why is it so smoky in here?" I was like, whoops. All right, so that is it for your what you're going to do. I'm not going to take you through my house while I do it. Also, a fun fact is that you can use this smoke to cleanse your own energy. So simply what you're going to do is you'll guide that smoke towards your body. And most people will start at their feet and moving upward. And you can just say, I release the heaviness of winter. I welcome clarity, renewal, and fresh energy. Now, when you are finished going through your home and doing your smoke cleanse, you're going to return to the entrance of your home. You're going to take a deep breath and you're going to say, the space is cleansed, my home is protected, fresh energy is welcome here. And then you're going to make sure that you extinguish the herbs in your bowl. Now, what I love about this practice is how simple and natural it is. Our ancestors did not separate spirituality from everyday life. It was woven into the rhythm of nature. The plants around them, the changing seasons, and the intentions they carried in their daily rituals. So So the next time you step outside and see rosemary in your garden or pine needles on the ground, remember, nature is always providing the tools we need. Sometimes we just need to reconnect with them. All right, friends, that is it for our Witchy Wednesday ritual. I am so grateful and honored to be able to share this with you all, and I am wishing you a very blessed day.